What's up, football fans? Welcome back to the channel. If you're a Steelers diehard or just an NFL junkie looking for drama, you're in the right place. Because today's video is absolutely loaded. We're diving deep into the juicy rumors around the Pittsburgh Steelers. Adam Schefter reportedly says Pittsburgh is done making moves. But with star pass rusher TJ Watt involved in swirling trade speculation to the Green Bay Packers, fans are rightfully wondering, is the front office really finished? Or is something massive brewing behind closed doors? Stick around, because we're unpacking every layer of this story, from the Steelers' offseason overhaul to the truth behind these Watt trade whispers. Let's start with what set the internet on fire this week. Reports that ESPN insider Adam Schefter told sources the Steelers are done making moves for now. Now, what exactly does done mean in NFL terms? When Schefter says that, he typically means the front office feels their roster is close to final. No more blockbuster trades, no big signings on the horizon. And to be fair, the Steelers have already made a ton of noise this offseason. Between signing veteran QB Aaron Rodgers, landing wide receiver DK Metcalf, and making moves to bolster the secondary, it's clear they're pushing chips in for a championship run in 2025. They even traded away longtime star safety Minkah Fitzpatrick, which shocked a lot of people, and turned around to bring in veterans like Jalen Ramsey and tight end Jonnu Smith. It's been aggressive, bold, and exactly what you'd expect from a team that feels like the window is now. So when Schefter says they're done, it could be about money. Pittsburgh might be up against the salary cap. Or it could mean they're just content with the talent they've assembled and don't want to mess with the chemistry. But here's the kicker. NFL offseasons are notorious for late surprises. Just because the public narrative says the Steelers are finished doesn't mean they are. Because guess who hasn't been showing up to team activities? TJ Watt. And that's where things get very, very interesting. TJ Watt isn't just any player. We're talking about one of the most dominant edge rushers of the last decade, 5-time All-Pro, Defensive Player of the Year in 2021. He's racked up more than 100 career sacks and has been the heart and soul of Pittsburgh's defense since the moment he put on the black and gold. But now, the reports are growing louder. Watt is frustrated with his current contract. He skipped mandatory minicamp, and there's increasing speculation that he's looking for a new deal that would make him the highest paid non-quarterback in the NFL. Think north of $40 million per year over 5 seasons. That's a jaw-dropping number, over $200 million total. And the Steelers, after spending big on Rodgers, Ramsey, Metcalf, and others, may not be in a position to meet those demands. And this is where the Packers enter the chat. Green Bay has reportedly expressed interest in acquiring Watt via trade should the standoff with Pittsburgh reach a breaking point. At first glance, it might sound far-fetched. Why would the Steelers trade their best defensive player after going all in on veterans? But dig a little deeper, and you'll see why this rumor isn't going away. First, let's talk money. The Packers actually have room under the cap. They've created financial flexibility and could not only absorb Watt's current deal, but also extend him with a massive new contract. And from a football perspective, it's a dream fit. The Packers already have Rashawn Gary coming off one edge. Imagine lining up TJ Watt on the opposite side. That's a nightmare scenario for opposing quarterbacks and instantly makes Green Bay's defense one of the most feared units in the league. But it gets even juicier when you remember that Watt is a Wisconsin native. He grew up in Pewaukee, played his college ball at Wisconsin, and has deep ties to the state. A return home to play for the Packers? That storyline writes itself. The emotional pull is there, and for Green Bay, it could be a final piece that puts them over the top in the NFC. They've already built around Jordan Love, and their young offense is starting to mature. Adding a leader like Watt could bring everything together. Still, not everyone believes this will, or even should, happen. NFL Network's Tom Pelissero said this week that a Watt trade makes 0 sense for the Steelers. His argument? They've built a win-now roster around veterans. Trading Watt now would undercut their entire strategy and send mixed signals to the locker room. And he's not wrong. Watt is still elite. He's still producing. And if the Steelers are serious about chasing a Super Bowl with Rodgers under center, it's hard to justify moving on from your most dangerous defender. But holdouts have a way of making teams do things they don't want to do. And if Watt refuses to report without a new deal, the pressure could mount quickly. So let's talk about potential trade packages. What would it even take for the Packers to land TJ Watt? One proposed scenario has Green Bay sending a first-round pick, a third-round pick, and young edge rusher Kingsley Enabear to Pittsburgh in exchange for Watt, and possibly a future mid-rounder. Another version of the deal has the Packers parting with Lucas Van Ness, last year's first-round pick, plus Romeo Doubs and additional draft compensation. Either package gives Pittsburgh both future assets and immediate depth while clearing cap space. But is it worth it? That's the question Steelers fans are debating fiercely right now. On one hand, trading Watt would give the Steelers the flexibility to manage their cap better long-term, and maybe even add youth around Rodgers for a final push. On the other hand, Watt is the defense. He's the identity. He's the fire, the intensity, and the leadership this team has been built around for nearly a decade. Letting him walk, especially after going all in at so many other positions, could deflate the locker room and send the wrong message to fans and players alike. From Green Bay's perspective, it's easier to justify. They have a roster that's ascending, but missing that one superstar on defense who can swing a game single-handedly. Watt is exactly that. If they feel like they're one piece away from the Super Bowl, this might be the move. The real question becomes, how much are they willing to give up? Draft picks are valuable, but Watt is a future Hall of Famer. Teams don't get many chances to grab a player of his caliber while he's still in his prime. Meanwhile, let's not forget Watt's own role in this. If he's truly unhappy in Pittsburgh and determined to get a record-breaking contract, then staying without a deal becomes difficult. No-showing training camp will escalate the situation, fines will pile up, media pressure will grow. At that point, the Steelers will have to decide whether to give in and pay him, or cut their losses and move on. If Watt wants out and Green Bay is offering the right price, we could see a blockbuster by late August. And don't sleep on other teams watching this closely. If Watt truly becomes available, contenders like the Eagles, Cowboys, or even the Ravens might test the waters. But the Packers are the most logical fit, both financially and emotionally. It's a homecoming that would energize their fan base and fortify their defense instantly. If the stars align, it could happen. So where does that leave us right